Welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast, where we aim to help fellow veterinary rehab therapists increase their knowledge and elevate their practice. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Anae Lloyd. Together, we bring you the latest insights, research, and information in the field of veterinary rehabilitation.
This podcast is brought to you by Onlinepethealth, a leading continuing education membership for veterinary rehabilitation therapists. With Onlinepethealth, you'll have access to a wide range of online resources to help you stay up to date with the latest techniques, advances, and trends in the industry.
Our podcast features in-depth conversations with leading experts in veterinary rehabilitation. They share their own experiences and knowledge to help you improve your practice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, our goal is to provide you with the tools and the insights you need to succeed.
So join us as we explore the exciting world of veterinary rehabilitation and help you take your practice to the next level. Hey vet rehabbers, Happy New Year to all my loyal listeners. I just want to take this moment to thank each and every one of you for your incredible support, especially over the past year. As many of you know, it was a challenging time for my family with my husband's stroke, and the kindness and encouragement from this amazing community has really meant the world to me. I'm truly grateful to each and every one of you, so thank you. It's become a little bit of a tradition for Michelle, Onlinepethealth's general manager, and me to kick the year off with a podcast interview. So in this episode, Michelle and I dive into the essential checks every business owner should be doing. We discuss the importance of tracking monthly KPIs, which stands for Key Performance Indices, conducting regular business health checks, and breaking your year into quarters to set clear priorities and stay on track with your goals. Now, whether you're looking to streamline your operations or plan for growth, this episode is really packed with practical tips to help you focus on what matters most in your business. Now, if you're not a member already, our amazing online community of vet rehabbers from all over the world gathers in our Facebook groups. So if you haven't joined, you can head over to Facebook and request to be part of the action. Our groups include small animal vet rehabbers, equine vet rehabbers, hydro vet rehabbers, and our business vet rehabbers. Those are for the ones that are juggling patient care and running your own practices. Now, we regularly share tips, advice, and host live sessions with experts to support you on your vet rehab journey. A quick word from our sponsors before we head over to the chat with Mish. Nada first developed her courses at the Colorado State University, where she started the medical acupuncture for veterinarian certificate program, and this was in 1998. In so doing, Dr. Robinson developed a science-based platform for veterinary acupuncture, and it was the first of its kind. Today, Curacao Vet offers a comprehensive curriculum in integrative medicine with a rational evidence-supported foundation. Courses include medical acupuncture, photomedicine, botanical medicine, medical massage, and integrative rehabilitation. You can discover Curacao Vet at curacao.org. Right, let's hear what Mish and I had to say. Hey vet rehabbers, Happy New Year. It's so exciting that we are doing this actually on the 1st of January. Welcome Mish, thank you for joining me.
Hi, Megs. Happy New Year, vet rehabbers. We're thrilled to be here on the 1st, 2025. It's pretty cool.
And I'm so excited for this year. So guys, I thought we'll get Mish. She is the general manager of Onlinepethealth. A lot of you know her, a lot of you email her all the time, and you will recognize her actually on a lot of the webinars because she's one of the people that introduces our amazing lecturers for the webinars on Onlinepethealth membership. And so I thought I would get her in because she is the person at Onlinepethealth that keeps us organized, all right? So you need one person. I am not an organized person at all. I'm not the kind of person. I have like these amazing ideas. And then Mish is the person who gets my team to implement all of them. And I thought it would be really useful because I know a lot of you are one-man bands, but some of the things that we're going to talk about are really going to be helpful for you too. And I do also think if you've got a team, you need to be able to manage your team and be able to put systems into place that allows that team to grow. So if you are a one-man band and you're thinking, this is not going to be useful for me, it is, because you guys have to set your practice up so that you can expand at a later stage. And you never know when that's going to happen. So sometimes people will think, I'm just going to be one person. And then the next minute things expand and you've got a whole lot of people. And I can clearly remember when I had my practice. I remember actually wishing I could go back to when it was just me and one person, because when you're small, it's so much easier to be able to run things. And Mish and I actually, it was just her and I mean, me in the beginning for Onlinepethealth, and then Mish joined me. And we have a team now, and we have there are 8 people in our team, but we also have some people that are subcontracting to us. So there are lots of people and lots of moving parts to manage. And I remember when I had my practice and it was just the 2 of us, it's so easy because you just speak to one another, right? Then when you have multiple people coming in, you can't just speak to one another because you don't see that person. And then that's when things start to run badly and not as smoothly, and things start to go wrong. And I used to get so frustrated. And I used to think, oh, I just wish I could go back to just me and that one person. And then I actually realized it was all my faults and that I wasn't actually being a good leader and a good manager, and that I needed to set up some systems. And so Mish is our systems person. So Mish, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
So what we thought we would do today is to talk about some of the things that we do in online pet health, which I think that you guys could use in your practices. So I think one of the things is, and we all have this, right? And even we have this now, and we're like super organized at Online Pet Health. But we like have all these things that we want to do. And then, what happens is you get to the end of the year and you've still got a list of things that you didn't do. And one of the things that we do at Online Pet Health is we divide the year up into quarters. So we'll say quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have a goal to what are we going to achieve in quarter 1? And you guys got to plan this in advance. So now we're sitting at Online Pet Health now. So the last 2 months we were chatting, okay, what are we going to do for the quarter 1 of 2025? And we already know what we're planning, and we've got everything sorted out. We've got everything mapped out. We've got timelines for all of that. And so if you don't do that, if you don't have this like timeline, or you don't have these quarters, things can, you just go, you get to the end of the year and you're like, oh, what did I actually do?
Yeah.
So Mish, you can remember when we used to run Online Pet Health like that, right?
Oh, totally. It was just Meg and I, and we would just be on the phone or see each other every day. And it was so simple because we didn't have to think for anyone else. But not when I say not think, but we didn't have to factor in anyone else's thoughts. It was just Meg and I, and we think very similarly. And we can finish each other's sentences at times because we just work together really well. We have done so for many years. And when we started introducing members, I remember that introducing team members, I can remember the frustration of like, oh, that's not done. I'll just do it myself quickly, which always racks me over the knuckles for, because rather train than do it just do it yourself because it's easier, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the things is, and I think it's a personality thing, because I mean, I'm one of those kind of completely controlling kind of people. Well, I used to be. Like, I'd like to say that I'm not anymore. But it has been a constant challenge for me to not constantly want to take over from people and do other people's jobs. And only when I realized that, you can't just show somebody how to do something. Like, when a person comes in, it's their like first day of their job, and you're like, okay, come here, this is what you're doing, and I'll show them what to do. And then I'd get frustrated because the next day or the day after, they didn't do it properly. And and then I realized, okay, you actually have to write it down for them. You have to create this, like, this system for them. And once you do create that system and you've got a booklet of exactly step 1, step 2 for them to do, you don't need to take over anymore. Because I used to take over all the time because I was like, oh, this person just can't do this job. But it was actually me who hadn't actually designed it correctly or created something for them that actually allowed them to be able to learn. Because nobody can remember the one time. And I was very, like with my team, I remember when I had my practice, I was actually so unrealistic. I would just be like, I'm just going to show you what to do, like everything all in one day. And that person was like, whoa, I'm like so overwhelmed, like there was no way they were going to remember everything, but I expected them to,
Yeah, and absolutely. And each person, I think the reason Megs and I could get things done so easily is we think very similarly, but not everyone thinks the same way as you, and not everyone finds your tasks as easy as you do. They might find something else easier than you do and pick that up in a heartbeat, whereas there's another complicated task or a task that you find easy that they might not. So the systems and setting those up and doing a step-by-step guide, however they get to that step, as long as that step is achieved, is going to work, right?
Yeah, and what I love about now, 2025 we're in, is that we have AI to help us with a lot of these systems. Years ago, it was like, and it's always one of the things when I speak to vet rehabbers, they're all like, oh, I have to get my like operations manual together with all the systems in place. And guys, I want to tell you, it's so easy now. Like literally, if it's something online that you do, you can literally record the screen. If it's something that you're doing in person, you can record your audio. You can load that audio into AI and say, make a system or standard operating procedure for this procedure for me. And AI will literally pump it out for you. And then you can copy and paste it and put it into a Word document and have that accessible. So it's so much easier now to create like all these systems in order for us to be able to train people so much easier.
And that's part of the system's goal as well. Like the AI makes it easier. Automation in your systems makes life easier. So that takes me to things where there's weak points, where a person can't really manage on their own, or something that is a little bit more menial task, that you can find something to automate it. And once you've got the automation going, it takes a weight off your shoulders. So that AI falls into that category for me. So I would have typed out notes and notes and notes of a system. And now I'm like, put it into a system, create a point form document, and there we go. They've got their system and it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, and AI like has literally changed everything because if you think about it, like there are a lot of people that run businesses and run practices where they do the same things that they did 10 years ago. So if you guys are not embracing AI and using it in your practices, we really, really want to encourage you to. And I want to say, like, Mish is not the best with like, she likes to do things the way she does things. And I
Yeah,
remember like when AI came out, do you remember you were like,
not using it.
and now you're sold, right? Because you're
Yes,
like you're like one of those people who get set in your ways. I'm a little bit
yes,
more like, let's try this, let's try something new.
yeah,
But when you do try something and it works, then you do
yes.
embrace it.
Yes. So I like the way you say that. I am quite set in my ways. I'll set up a system and I'll know that it works. I've thought about all the back ends and all the things that could go wrong, and I set up the system, and that will work for quite a long time, but something will change. And it's like, oh, now I've got to change my system. It's often just a tweak. And to get my mindset around that and realize it's just a tweak versus I'm not changing the whole thing, I managed to embrace it a lot more. So that time in the beginning that you take to set up your system is going to see you well for the future, for everything else, because you're just going to continually evolve that system. And if you've got a documented way that you've done that using your AI, of course, you can document it quite easily. It makes it easy to change and go with the times and go with the flow.
Yeah, so and then one of the things with systems, like I think for me, I'm like the kind of person who months can sometimes go by before I remind myself, oh, I should have checked that. So for me, like systems in business and systems in your guys' vet rehab practice, you should have things every single month that you check. And we actually have a KPI sheet. So KPI stands for Key Performance Indices. And that is basically and you guys can decide whatever you want in your practice to measure, okay? So for us, we've got an online business. So what we're going to be measuring is completely different to what you guys measure, but you might want to be measuring like how many first consults did you get? How many new clients did you get? How many follow-up consults have you had every single month? How many complaints did you get? Hopefully none. Hopefully you guys don't get any complaints. But these are the kind of things that you want to be measuring all the time. You can measure your social media reach. And it really helps if you're monitoring things in your business over time to be able to pick up when there's a problem. And
Absolutely.
we probably for the last 3 years or so have been measuring KPIs, but before that we didn't. And I can remember actually a time when we were just like, we could see like our email list wasn't growing like it was before. And we didn't understand why. And months went by until we actually realized, oh, there was a problem with one of these automation tools that we were using, and it wasn't actually connecting. And we lost all these leads. And when we had our KPIs, that same similar thing happened to us. But literally from one month to the next, we were like, there's a problem. We need to go find the solution for it.
Yeah,
So
we
measure,
literally picked it up, and the nice thing is that it gives staff a complete different view on what they do. So what happened in that instance was Shanae came to me and she says, there's this problem here. Because what I do with the team is I go through the KPIs and I celebrate their goals that they've achieved, and we look into why they haven't achieved some goals. And Shanae picked it up straight away and she came to me and she said, there's a problem here. And within a day, we had sorted it out. I think I'd said to you, Megs, there's a problem here, but don't worry, we're on it. And it took the pressure off on the situation. It gave us that space to breathe, which I think a lot of people, when they're in a reactive mode, when they've picked up a problem, it burns you out so quickly, or it frustrates you and you can't think clearly. But if you're seeing it ahead and something's happening, you can preempt it. It's not putting out a fire. It's actually just dealing with something in your stride, which helps a lot because you have a lot more energy to deal with the problem.
And also, it's so simple to do, guys. It's literally, you can create an Excel sheet. And what I remember from practice is like the month of April, there were loads of, we call them public holidays here in South Africa, but you guys call them bank holidays. But in April, there are loads of bank holidays. And then December. Those were my 2 months where I used to have such low turnover. And I remember when I first had my practice, when I had that, it took me a few years to actually realize there was a pattern. I just thought, oh, I've had a bad month. I've had a bad month. And now when I look back, I'll be like, well, if I'd actually measured that over the first year, when it happened the second year in April, because I didn't remember, oh, it was April last time. I just remember I had a bad month at some time.
Yeah.
But I would have been like, oh, if I look here, there's a reason. April's going to be a bad month. And then I could plan for it. So doing KPIs is such a good way to just get an overview of like how your practice is doing, and also to see patterns in specific like years or times or months. And all of us have it. Like we over the years, we'll realize, oh, this is the school holidays. Things are going to drop off. Things are going to be a bit quieter.
Absolutely. And when Megs and I check in and do our business meetings, we're like, oh, well, this is coming because that's the pattern for every month. So we can get around that or work towards a different goal to improve that month. So it definitely helps having the KPIs. It's just, and you learn, I'm not a figures person, but for the first few months that I did it, I was like, okay, we're plugging in figures, we're plugging in figures. When you start seeing that pattern, it's actually really rewarding because you feel like you're more in control. And you and I love our control as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel scary anymore. And you see,
Yeah,
because you know this is going to happen and you're warned about it. So looking at those patterns. So these are the things that we would like to suggest to you guys to do this year. So we talked about dividing the year up into quarters. I've now spoken about doing a monthly KPI sheet where on the first of the month or the third of the month you decide, you put a reminder on your phone that you go in there and you fill in those figures. And then when you fill them and you look at what's happened over the last few months, and you can do this throughout the year. And then the other thing that we do is every single quarter, at the end of the quarter, we do what's called a business health check. And this year now we're going to have this available for you in the Online Pet Health membership. So you'll be able to log in and to be able to access a practice health check. And it's also a Excel sheet. And what we've done is we've divided it up into different categories and the things that you need to have a look in your business. And it's really like sort of standing up from back and having a look at how everything's running. And what's going to happen is what you don't want to do is you say, oh, yes, I've done all of that, because that's not going to be how it's going to be. Like certain times of the year and certain years, certain parts of your business are going to be running well and other parts aren't going to be. And the business health check is basically to see, where do I need to put more work into? And you're going to be looking at things like looking into the financials of your business. You're going to look at your time management and how you and your team are managing your time. You're going to look at your systems and how those are. You're going to look at the people that are in your team. Like, are these the right people? Do they know what your core values and your mission and your vision is? Are these people all aligned? And so it really is just such a great way to have a look and see, what do you need to do? And when you have a look and you've done that business health check, it helps you then to plan what you need to do for the next quarter. So if your financials are maybe not good, you might be thinking like, we don't, and you can check your KPIs and you think, well, we haven't been getting any new clients. Then you got to sort of work on your marketing. Do you want to add something?
And yeah, I wanted to say, like, doing the business health check, it sounds big and scary, but actually it's breaking it down into little areas of the business, into bite-sized chunks. So you can do that every quarter and you can plan each month. Okay, this month I really need to focus on these two staff members getting a little bit more education. Next month, I really need to focus on my marketing and bringing in new clients, or the admin, and that leads us into things like outsourcing and automation. But really what I'm trying to get at is that it's not as scary as it sounds, especially if you're a small practice. It is so doable. And once you get into the routine of it and pick up those patterns in your KPIs and your business health check, you have a plan going forward of how you can remedy situations, how you can improve, how you can grow, where you need to look at. And it just makes things simpler for you. So when you're sitting there going to yourself, I'm not an organized person, I'm never going to do this, carve time out for this. It is so important, and your business will really reap the rewards. However small you do it or how large you do it, it's going to benefit you for your end goals. And maybe it will bring up things that you go, oh, I never knew I could do that. Actually, I'm going to create that as a goal, put that into my KPIs. And before long, you'll notice that you've achieved these things. I usually have a to-do list once we've done our business health check of things that I want to implement. And before I know it, I look at my notepad and I love checking things off. And I go back through my notepad and I'm like, wow, I've checked all these things off. Look how much I've actually done. And it gives you that drive to keep going. So don't look at it as a big, scary task. I think it's something that it oils the wheel and the machine, right?
Yeah, and I think you could literally just block an hour off. Like, so
Yes.
one Friday afternoon, you would look at your KPI sheet too, because you'll need information from there. And you'd sit and you would go through the health check. And literally, it's going to remind you, the health check reminds you of all the things that you need to be looking at in your business. And like one of the things that really comes to mind is it's so easy to keep doing the same things over and over and over again. And at some stage in your business, you do need to make a decision whether you're going to get somebody in to help you. So let's say you are a vet rehabber and you've got a one-man practice. It's just you, and you're doing all the administration, you're doing everything, but things are really good and you're really busy. And you get to the place where you think, well, actually, I could get an admin person in. And what often happens is people just keep doing what they're doing because that's what they're used to. And this business health check is actually to make you sit back and say, actually, I could delegate a whole lot of things. It would, one, give me a little bit of time for myself and for my own hobbies. And then number two, it would allow me to consult more, which would actually generate more income. And there's a saying that, people say, oh, they don't have the money to hire somebody else. But you actually have to, in order to be able to sometimes jump up in your revenue, you actually need to hire somebody else because they give you the space to be able to do the things that you actually love to do. And how I always
Absolutely.
see it, yeah, I
Mm.
always see it as the business owner, there are things that, I can outsource. I can actually just pay other people to do. And I want to do the things that I enjoy doing. And I
And you
remember
want
when
to,
I had my practice, it was never admin and ever. It was
no.
not something that I enjoyed.
So, and you want to do the things that you're good at and that are your strengths. Yes, we're all going to have those jobs that we don't enjoy doing, but we have to do. But if we can focus on our strengths, and that in turn helps us to grow. Say you want to consult more or treat patients more. If you hire someone who's strong in admin and you can take that off your plate, it gives you more time. It will also then give you more time to carve out these very important quarterly check-ins with yourself to improve your business, and you'll continually see things moving forward. So what Megs always says to me is like, Mish, is that gonna turn the wheel? Like, does that move the needle? And if I'm sitting there bashing my head in a wall about something that I'm not very good at, that I could get someone else to do, that will free me up to do something that is going to work for the business and move the needle, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, and I also think the business health check helps you, like one of the things as you're talking now, I was just thinking it actually helps you realize like what are the things that I must stop doing. Um,
Yes.
so you actually, sometimes we do things that we don't really need to be doing, and we've only got a finite amount of time in our practice. And I feel, as a vet rehab therapist, the amount of time that you have to do marketing and the admin side of things is so little compared to other businesses. Other businesses will have like the business owner, and then they have other people working in the business, and that person has a lot of time to do all of those and manage. We don't have a lot of time. So time is really, really important. And you want to make sure that the things that you are doing, as Mish said, are moving the needle. So the things that are actually generating income, because you're the sole person, if you're in a one-man practice, that is generating that income. So yeah, so those are the things that we really, really would like you to encourage you guys to do this year. All right, so you're going to sit down, you're going to plan your year into quarters, you're going to do a business health check, you're going to do that once a month, and you're going to create a KPI sheet. And we'll put this in to the Online Pet Health membership. So if you're an Online Pet Health member, you can log into the business basics area, and we will have an example of a KPI sheet for you, which you can edit and change. And we will have a business health check for you guys. So hop into the membership and go and have a look at that. Anything else you want to add, Mish?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that some of you might be sitting back going, this is so overwhelming. But let's take you back to Megan's very first business basics training. And remember your 4 quadrants. We've spoken about this before. Decide what's urgent and important, what's not urgent but important, what is not urgent. I've gone amiss there, Megs. I've forgotten my 4 quadrants because I sit in the urgent and important all the time. But that will help you to decipher what you need to make time for, put into your business health check and those sort of things. So they all combine into the healthy running of a business. And we are here to support you. If you guys have questions, just let us know. And this is going to help you long term. So take the time and do it.
And also what I want you guys all to do right now is to go into your phone, and I want you to write down at the end of every single month on the last day, check my KPIs and fill in my KPIs. And I want you to divide the year into 4 now and say, do the business health check. Just put it in your diary and then you'll get that done. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this really helps you guys throughout the year. And yeah, just wanted to wish all you vet rehabbers the most amazing 2025. We have got so many exciting things that we've got planned at Online Pet Health. We can't wait to share with you. This year's Vet Rehab Summit is going to be out of this world. We are so excited. We can't tell you anything. It's hush hush at the moment. So we still, it's a secret what the theme is, but it really is going to be amazing. And so, yeah, we're just looking forward to celebrating this amazing year with you guys. And yeah, here's to 2025.
Happy New Year, Vet Rehabbers. We are so excited for you to grow, improve, and strengthen your business. Even if you're not growing your practice, and implementing these goals will just help you have a better quality of life and work and balance. So here's to 2025. Here's to an awesome Vet Rehab Summit. I'm so excited about that. And here's to you getting your businesses on track, guys. We look forward to hearing all your comments and feedback.
Love that, Mish. I think when you're organized and you know everything, you're on top of everything, you can be calmer. That's what I love.
Yes. Thanks,
Cool, guys. Thanks, Mish. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. A big thanks to our sponsor, Curacao Vet. Their sponsorship allows us to be able to give this podcast to you for free, so please go and check them out at curacao.org. Please also don't forget to bookmark the next Vet Rehab Summit. It's on Saturday the 8th of November in 2025. Come and be a part of the world's largest online veterinary rehabilitation conference created specifically for you, the vet rehabber community. Online Pet Health members, you get VIP complimentary access to the Vet Rehab Summit. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to onlinepethealth.com.